Hello and welcome to Bell to Bell, where we highlight special people, projects, and events at Scholars Academy, right here in Far Rockaway Park, Queens. My name is Leroy Prasad. There's a lot going on today, so let's get started. After studying the lives of Stone Age people and other prehistoric humans, 6th graders wrote a short narrative to accompany the cave paintings we created in our media arts class. We videotaped the artwork, recorded a voiceover narration, and edited on iMovie. We'll show you some of the results throughout today's program. And here's the first video called Survive in the Snow.
We trudged through the snow, cold and wet. There was nothing and no one around. The trees were bare. The wind blew against us. I put on a bison hide shawl to bear the bitter frost. Then Father spotted an empty cave. We needed to rest, so the icy cave would have to do for the night. We laid down our skins in the dark of the cave and slept peacefully through the night.
We'll see more of the cave painting projects later on in the program, but now the temple project. After studying early civilizations in our humanities class, our teachers Miss Blaney and Miss Totis assigned us the task of building a model of a temple that represents one of the cultures we study. Here's Ronnie Odo to talk about a temple from Mesopotamia.
The Mesopotamians included Sumerians, Babylonians, and Hebrews. They existed from about 5000 BC to 600 BC in the Middle East. The Mesopotamians created many useful tools and inventions that are used today. They created a form of writing that involved using a stylus and a clay panel. This writing style was called cuneiform. They used it to write poetry, and they also wrote down major events in their history. They were very artistic and created beautiful cities filled with great works of art. Their architecture was very advanced. They built step pyramids that looked like the one that my father and I made together. To make the ziggurat, we glued together layers of square material that resembled corkboard, that had a sandy texture. Our temple resembled the step pyramid or ziggurat type of structure. The Mesopotamians' military wasn't as strong as the other surrounding nations, and so they were easily conquered. Eventually, their civilization was destroyed. But the Mesopotamian culture was recently given new life when a rock band called They Might Be Giants came out with a new music video called The Mesopotamians. This video cleverly uses some of the historical figures we learned about, like Hammurabi and Gilgamesh, and turns them into members of a rock band that is not very successful. The video also references cuneiform and other aspects of Mesopotamian culture that I mentioned. And now here's They Might Be Giants with the Mesopotamians.
We've been driving around from one end of this town to the other and back, but no one's ever seen us driving our Econoline van, and no one's ever heard of our band. We're the Mesopotamians, Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. And they wouldn't understand a word we say, so we'll scratch it all down into the clay, half believing there will sometime come a day someone gives a damn, maybe when the concrete has crumbled to sand. We're the Mesopotamians, Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. The Mesopotamish sun is beating down and making cracks in the ground, but there's nowhere else to stand in Mesopotamia, the kingdom where we secretly reign, the land where we invisibly rule as the Mesopotamians, Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. This is my last stick of gum. I'm gonna cut it up so everybody else gets some, except for Ashurbanipal, who says my haircut makes me look like a Mohenjo. Mesopotamian, Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh were the Mesopotamians. Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. Hey man, I thought that you were dead. I thought you crashed your car. No man, I've been right here this whole time playing bass guitar for the Mesopotamians. We're the Mesopotamians. Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal. Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. We're the Mesopotamians. Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh.
And that was They Might Be Giants with the Mesopotamians. And now here's a cave painting project that I worked on with my classmates in 605.
The floor shook and the rocks fell as my friend and I woke up. He looked up and down, and all that he saw were rocks of all various sizes that were tumbling down. A really large boulder came flying down and crushed him into the ground, killing him. The floor was still trembling after he died, so he went to the top of the cliff to see what was happening below. The very end of the cliff broke off, killing two of my friends. My friend went outside to see what was happening. In the end, I was wondering what happened. The entire earth quaked.
Next on Bell to Bell, we'll feature a segment that started as an art project in Ms. Trippick's studio art class and ended as a video project in Mr. Pepe's media arts class. Here are 9th grade students from Ms. Trippick's class to explain the art project.
In the 9th grade art class, we did a project on yin and yang, and we just basically wanted to know what the balance was. So we did a project of white and black.
For this project, the materials we used were basically white paper, black paper, and glue. We created a harmony through the interaction of positive light, which is white paper, and negative light, which is dark paper.
This displayed the concept of yin and yang and how things balance out even though they're the opposites.
After Ms. Trippick's art students finished their projects, the Scholars Academy Film Club videotaped about 150 of the images. Students from class 604 captured the media onto our laptops and edited them in iMovie. A hypnotic pattern was created by editing the images at different frames per second. The black and white images, which are reminiscent of the yin-yang symbol, led to an investigation of the symbol's meaning. Chanel Persad, Emily Wagner, Nicole Yamorsky, and myself wrote a poem based on our research, which became part of the project. Before showing you the project, a word of caution. The segment features a pattern of images edited together to create a rapid flashing effect, which is known to trigger seizures in people that suffer from some forms of epilepsy. If you think this might affect you, you should probably close your eyes for the next 3 minutes. And now let's watch the video.
Yin. Yang. From the ancient Chinese philosophy,
which states that the universe
is divided into two principles
that oppose one another,
yet cannot exist
without each other.
For example,
How can something have an inside unless it has an outside?
How would you know what pleasure is
Unless you experience pain.
Yin.
Yang.
day, night,
Bad, good,
hot,
cold,
up,
down,
yin, yang,
male,
female,
sun,
moon,
black,
white, joy,
sorrow, yin,
yang,
sound,
silence,
war,
peace,
stillness,
movement, inside,
outside, pain,
pleasure,
yin, yang,
life,
death,
the balance of opposites,
interdependence,
yin,
yang,
And now here's another cave painting video project.
We awoke, cold and hungry. As far as any of us can remember, these are the conditions we have been suffering through for the past centuries. Those of us who are awake are sitting upright and shivering. We can all hear the empty stomachs of those who are asleep. The growling is a cruel reminder of the extreme pains of hunger from our lack of nourishment. Many members of our tribe have already died from the scarce amount of food and nothing to warm them. A dark, luminous figure suddenly cast its shadow at the entrance of our cave. The bony shape of my big brother became visible. He was shivering and breathing heavily. As he exhaled, the structure of his ribcage became clear. A stream of blood trickled down his chin from his mouth. His body was covered with blood also. He gripped a body tightly in his left hand. The body of a once vicious saber-toothed tiger became clear. Red fluid dripped furiously from the creature's menacing fangs. It was gruesome, but it was our breakfast. My brother's eyes closed and his body slowly fell to the floor with a loud thud. His heartbeat slowed until it ceased. My brother was dead. The remaining members of our tribe sat in a small circle around the fire. We ate the small chunks of meat for our breakfast contently.
It's time to put on your headgear because it's time for the Smackdown at Scholars Academy. In the next segment, you'll see students train and then compete with the other schools in the Beat the Streets wrestling program, a program that is rapidly expanding throughout the New York City school system. Let's wrestle.
Hi, I'm Coach Lenardi. This is our Scholars Academy Seawolves wrestling team, 2007-2008. The wrestling program started with a grant from Al Bevilacqua and the Beat the Streets program about 3 years ago in 2005. Beat the Streets program is an organization that came around to the New York City schools, and what they did was they're trying to take a middle school component and have all the middle schools start at a non-competitive level, and then as they get to the 7th or 8th grade, start a competition going on throughout New York City. And their goal was to get a mat in every single middle school in the city. Usually we have around 35 to 40 students, both boys and girls, that wrestle at the middle school level. Our students meet every Tuesday and Thursday for about a 2-hour practice. We start in the beginning with warm-ups, we do some conditioning, and we have Mr. Stiglitz and Mr. Sheng helping us out as well.
He's coming up. I'm going to try and throw my hips over like I did before and just roll.
My background in wrestling is I was a high school and a middle school wrestler. So my high school district, elementary school district, had a team starting in middle school. So ever since 7th grade, I've been participating with this. And the last couple of years, but right before I got into teaching, I was volunteering as a high school wrestling coach in Maryland. And this is my first year coaching in New York.
We've also had 2 competitions recently in the last 2 weeks. We have PSMS 225 that have come to us. They've had about 20 wrestlers come and compete against our students. And next week we have a competition scheduled, 225 and 105. We're going to have a tri-meet at Scholars Academy.
Hi, I'm David Sullivan, and I wear a mouth guard because I have braces and I wrestle. So I gotta make sure that my teeth are always in perfect shape.
Well, I think wrestling is one of the best sports. It's both individual and team. So even though you have to work incredibly hard as a single person, it doesn't really work unless you have the partner and the team support to really get that going. I think wrestling teaches a lot to kids, especially about hard work, about being motivated, keeping themselves on task. The whole idea with weight classes, keeping themselves disciplined as far as what they eat during the year. So overall, I think wrestling is one of the best sports out there. It's great individual motivation as well as really having a group dynamic to it.
Hi, I'm Bria. I'm one of the 2 girls on the wrestling team. There's no downside about being the only girl. Just gives you a chance to prove yourself and show that, girls can do whatever guys can do. The main issue with wrestling a guy is that sometimes they're scared about wrestling a girl. They just think, they don't want to hurt you. But then, when you show them that, you're winning, then they think they have to, man up. So they don't say, I just got beat by a girl. So it's a lot of testosterone with guys.
Let's go, Sean, get into it, let's go! Roll out, roll out!
It's really a great program. It gets the students really working on commitment, dedication. It really improves their grades.
I wrestle people in my weight class, so sometimes they're a little stronger, but I win.
We're looking to build this from a 6th grade through 12th grade program where we have students go on into the high school level, PSAL, and wrestle at the best level in New York City.
Wow, I got a black and blue just from watching that segment. I guess you can call this episode of Bell to Bell, the Mind, Body, Spirit Show. We address the spirit in the Yin-Yang segment, the body in the wrestling segment. So now it's time to focus on the mind. Each month, student achievement is celebrated at Scholars Academy with our Scholar of the Month program, in which one student from each class from 6th through 8th grade is recognized for their accomplishments. Here's our principal, Mr. O'Connell, to explain how it works.
I want to take a moment to thank our guests for coming today. The purpose of this Scholars Academy Scholar of the Month Assembly is to honor and pay respect to students who have caught the eye of their teachers and who have exemplified what it means to be a true scholar. The students that we're honoring today during this assembly have demonstrated that. Too often in schools, principals and assistant principals, administrators, they typically interact only with students when something wrong happens. And we try to avoid that. We try to catch kids being good. We try to interact with kids for positive reasons more often than not. And that is our goal. And that's one of the gifts we have here at the Scholars Academy. So we're paying respect to these students. We're appreciating the fact that we get to interact with such wonderful children. And we're also paying respect to the families who have worked with these children. Thank you for coming. Thank you for that hard work that brought them to this point. I think a whole lot of education's issues could be solved if people put a little more focus into the age of 0 to 5. If you send schools cooperative, well-managed children, we can teach them. These children are above the average. These are high-functioning students in every way, and I thank you and applaud you for the work that you've done at home with them. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. From Class 601, this student has been selected Scholar of the Month because there is something very unique about him. I have a sneaking suspicion that this person just might have magical powers. How else could you explain the spell that this student has cast over all of the 6th grade teachers? This student has been selected Scholar of the Month because he's a quiet gentleman who always works hard with a smile. He will be a huge success no matter where he goes or what he does. This student has been selected Scholar of the Month because she is an outstanding student and young lady. She's the type of student who always goes the extra mile with assignments and strives to be the very best. This student has been selected Scholar of the Month because he demonstrates personal motivation by working to improve each day. This student displays a strong work ethic on a daily basis. She strives not only to succeed in all she does, but quietly assists her classmates and peers to become the best that they can be as well. Has been a quiet girl for the first few months of school, but now it seems like she has come out of her shell. With a kind, gentle soul and a strong desire to succeed, this student is a true scholar through and through. This student has been selected Scholar of the Month because she is an outstanding student. She tries each and every day to climb to the top of that mountain. He's a role model for all to follow. He's kind, caring, and above all, a great influence. His determination to produce a superior final product is evident to both his classmates and teachers. As he sets an example for all to follow, she's a pleasure to have in class each and every day. Step up from Class 705, Ms. Deirdre, moved by her quiet demeanor. Her actions speak loud and clear. She cooperates with all her peers and is often a successful mediator. This student has been selected Scholar of the Month because he strives for perfection as evident in his unflagging work ethic and competitive spirit. Every day he comes to class determined to accomplish his best attitude. Not only is he one of the best spellers, but with his hard work he excels in all subject areas. I am honored to nominate Jean Clayton, Scholar of the Month, to motivate others through her actions. She is the first to volunteer her time at lunch. She's an exceptional student in everything that teaches a strong leader who exhibits strong character traits such as respect, responsibility, commitment, integrity. In addition to his academic successes and abilities, he is also a caring and friendly person. It is such a pleasure to have him in class. Step up from 805 performance during class and during extracurricular activities has contributed to the betterment of our class and our school as a whole. It is with great pleasure that I announce from Class 806, Ms. Gabriella Lipper. Please stand up.
That's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. See you next time on Bell to Bell.